So I don't know how well this is going to come out because I did a resin pour yesterday, and this is what it looks like. You see that blue color? The problem is I didn't use any opaque colors. I only used transparent. So I'm not sure why it turned opaque. None of my others have done this. It's two masks though. It is my first pour on my Picari mold, and it looks like there might be a bubble on there. Or I might have set it on a piece of silicone. That's hard to say. And then the RAW mold, brand new RAW mold here. In order to get these out, I have to actually pop the funnels off first, or at least get in there. So that might be a little bit difficult to do while I'm sitting here on camera, but I basically want to free up the silicone from the resin on all sides, basically create a gap in there. That's just going to help to get the knife down in there to actually do the separation. As for how far down I need to go though, I'm not sure. I probably should have done this part earlier, should have cut the funnel while the resin was soft. But at the same time, if I needed it to soften up, I can run it in front of like a hair dryer or some warm water. That would usually soften it up well enough to pop this, but I think it should be okay. So we'll see. We're just going to kind of go in at it, rock the knife kind of back and forth, and hope that it goes in there quite well. This is actually firmed up quite a bit more than I had expected too. Oh yeah, that's super. So it's really interesting. Like the solid color's only on the inside. So there's like this layer all around the outside of it that's transparent, and then the solid color's in toward the center, at least from what I can see. That's really fascinating. I was not expecting this at all. It was pretty difficult to cut that though. So it does seem to affect the resin itself. I have no idea if it affects it for the better or worse yet, but I'm going to need to go down in there a bit further. It's just not enough. It's too much. Drop the knife. Good idea. I'm safe. It's okay. Nobody's hurt. So let me try this again. There we go. So just pulling back on it, kind of like this to leave an opening, and then I can get the knife down in there. Then I can just kind of rock it back and forth. So I don't really push too hard, but I just kind of turn the knife, tweak it back and forth, and that helps to really guide it in there. Kind of like not a sawing motion, but like a rocking motion, really. Sawing motion helps too, of course, but it really helps to knock the piece out. That's easy to cut with the knife. You just kind of go in with the corner of it. I'm using a flat bladed knife here too. That's just much easier to have clean cuts from. Let me see if I've got some tweezers here too. I can pull that extra piece out of there. Just so I don't have to dig out into the silicone any more than is necessary. All right, so that is the funnel officially out. So now all I should have to do is essentially just push from the top, and there's no flashing at all. Oh no, there's a teeny tiny bit. Sorry, my bad. Actually, it might be. Hold on. No flashing. Just kidding. That's old flashing that I missed apparently the first time around. Oh wow, that actually looks gorgeous. Hold on, I have to show this to you. This is so cool. There's flashing in the eyes, but man, I've never seen that effect before. Oh man, from the front like this, but you can see it on camera too. It's got this like translucent layer around it, but then the inside of the mask itself is what's solid, opaque. That's the word, is opaque. That is so cool. That is so cool. Like today was not supposed to be a fun poor day because it's my birthday and I don't want to spend the day, I guess, working all day. Although I need to. I really need to bring in some money. But at the same time, it's like just kind of taking the day off, trying to kind of relax. But I did do at least a pour. And that's incredible looking. I obviously have to cut the eyes out and stuff. I usually like to wait for the mask to firm up a bit more. I don't know if I can repeat this effect. Oh man, I love it. I wasn't expecting this to be so cool, like at all. I was expecting this to be a fail for sure. But for it to come out like that is amazing. Unexpected. Anyway, so yeah, this morning, like I said, I pulled out a Komau from a brand new mold. It is my, I was going to say third mold on the Komau. It's technically 2.5. The very first mold I did was going to be a squish mold. I did not like how it came out at all, so I ended up just abandoning it. And these molds are fairly small, so although the silicone is expensive, these don't take up a lot of silicone. It's maybe $2 for one of these molds, give or take, and so it's not awful by any means. And so with the second mold I did, it was a 2-part mold, but I learned from that, because I'm working in a finite space, I didn't have really anything to build like a box out of. I was working in a cup like this, and I didn't go through the effort of actually like smoothing out the sides. I just brought the clay up flush with the sides of the face and then kind of rounded it off. And what I realized is that when you put a 2-part silicone mold together, you really want the areas where they mate to be flat against each other, because if they are sheared at all, if they are offset a little bit and they pass by each other in this direction, they shear past each other, then the silicone will drag, and when it drags, it kind of pulls away, because there's a lot of friction in this. Silicone does not like sliding against silicone, right? It likes to stick to silicone, as you can see here. So that just means that if it does that with 2 solid pieces, then anything that has details that are like in weird angles and stuff can get to be a lot more difficult. It's a lot more finessing, which means that you'll have a higher failure rate with some of that stuff, or you need to take a lot of care to make sure that your molds are designed properly. And you also want to pay attention to the type of silicone you use. I would imagine that a denser silicone with like a higher hardness, shore hardness level would probably fare a little bit better, because it's going to resist that drag more, and it's going to resist just deformation in general. But this is a fairly soft silicone here, which is why, for one reason, I'm able to kind of bend things apart and take things out without really damaging the mold that much. The other thing that is nice about this is that it's the super elastic silicone as well. So again, it moves around quite easily. But yeah, anyway, so like I said, very weird video, not exactly going how I planned, but I am not at all mad with the results. This is by far one of the coolest things, and it just continues to baffle me, continues to blow me away, how kind of screwing up, if you will, with resin casting can still lead to some incredible looking, unique, sometimes one-of-a-kind pieces, right? I call something like this, a mask, because it's one color, but a piece like this, it's a mask, sure, but it's almost like a piece of art. It's unique. It's not something that's easy to recreate. It's not something I could even guarantee I can recreate, but to get something out of it that is a one-of-a-kind, unique piece that I can feature in my own builds, or that can find a home with someone else, is honestly, I don't know how to express how I feel about it. It's there's a lot of charm in it. That's all I can say. It's endearing to think about. It's to know that a month ago this was a pipe dream for me, and I didn't think that I would progress quickly. I still don't think that I'm, perfected the skill at all. I don't know if I ever will think that, but at the same time, I know that I'm always learning, and in doing so, in that learning, and not being afraid to take risks, to jump in on the deep end, I never. Okay, think of it like this: if I had looked online and saw that you can't mix acrylic paint with resin, because acrylic paint is water-based and resin is often made with oils and oil-based stuff, right? Epoxy resin specifically. Then yeah, there's a likelihood I would have been like, okay, I can't use it, so I won't use it, right? But I didn't do that. In fact, when I did that, I saw people were like, yeah, I am using acrylic paint. Okay, cool. But the other thing I know is that, like, every brand is different. Every paint brand, every resin brand, the temperature, there are so many variables out there I can't control. So, like, sometimes, yeah, I'm going to get a piece that looks like it could be official, while other times I'm going to get something completely unique because of something I didn't expect, something I may never be able to recreate. And that, I think, is part of the allure of doing something like this. It's not that it's necessarily approachable. I understand that there is an investment involved when it comes to something like resin casting, and I think you have to kind of have a certain state of mind to be sort of a detail-oriented type of person. It's not for everybody, and that's the same with all art forms, right? Some people out there are great sculptors, others are great painters, others are good with a pencil and a pen, and not, we don't all, mesh. We don't all cover the same ground, but you know, when you find something that you're good at, when you find something that really speaks to you and sort of sings in tune with how it resonates with you, you know, it's worth pursuing in that end, even if you don't necessarily make anything doing it. So I'm very happy, super pleased with these results too, because again, these are the first casts that I've pulled out of these molds. I did not expect them to come out as well as they did. I have a Picari mold here, I have a Rao mold, there are no issues with them, which makes me so happy. You don't even understand, because the Picari was one that I was really not looking forward to because of all of the holes in it. And yeah, cleanup, that's no big deal. Flashing is easy compared to, you know, cleaning gunky stuff. Cleaning, you know, things like this. This is less fun to clean. This little bubble up here is less fun to clean. But when you pull a mask out that has that, there's no flashing there. I love it. That's all I can say. So that's pretty much it for this one. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, because it does help the channel out. And of course, as always, my links for my Discord and Instagram will be in the description below. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Take care.